Hi, and welcome back. Today's video is going to be an update on my Bearcat 980 SSB, my review on it. I've had it for about a little over 2.5 months, and I was just going to get an update on what I thought about it. My initial review on it was very positive, and it still is. I've experimented with the radio with a different microphone, a power microphone, and the stock microphone. And starting off with the stock microphone, the only modification I did with this was one that I saw on the internet and reading about it. If you take the 3 screws off the back of the microphone, in front of the speaker grill here is a little pad that's sticky, and it's for the noise canceling. So if you have it in like your truck or a car, it will cut down on the background noise. Now, since I'm using this as a base station, I wasn't worried about that, and I was reading where some users were saying it kind of muffles your transmission. So what I did was remove it. And removing it, I don't know what it was like before or after, but from videos I've seen, it shows the modulation goes up a little. But I've had nothing but great reports with this microphone. So I don't know, in a lot of other reviews, they say this microphone's junk, but I haven't seen that at all. I live in northern Nevada, and I've been talking skip all across the country, and I get good reports. They say my radio sounds really nice. I also have a Radio Shack power microphone, and I rewired that so I could I changed the plug from the realistic plug to a 4-pin. And to do that, you have to plug it into this adapter to work in the radio. But after using that microphone, I was getting reports that I sounded overmodulated. So I figured that would probably happen. I mean, why change the microphone? The radio's probably designed to use this microphone. So putting in more power to it just made it sound overmodulated. And then I read where, well, just turn down the RF gain or the mic gain and it will sound better. And I thought, well, why would I want to do that? That kind of defeats the purpose of the power mic. So I just went back to the standard microphone, and like I said, I'm very happy with it. Now, I've read all sorts of reviews on this too, also about the screen on these, that if you have it in a really hot car, over time the screen fades. So I wasn't too worried about that because I have it in my shack here in the office, and I have air conditioning in here, so it's not going to get too hot. And as you can see, the screen, looking forward, it's very clear, you can see it. But if you do look at it from an angle, you can see where it fades. Well, not fades, but you can't really read it. You can from that angle, that's interesting. But if we go from the angle over here, you can see it fades. So basically you need to be looking directly at it to see it. And when it is bright in here, it is dimmer. So I could see that being a problem if it was inside a car or a truck. Now, I also have it hooked up to an external Bearcat speaker, which I bought on Amazon Marketplace probably about a year ago, and I think I got a really good deal on that. I think I paid around $20 for it. It said it had everything, but it was missing the bracket. But I didn't really care about that. As you can see, it has kind of a speaker in the front and then some outlets on the bottom. I just got a Lego tire from one of my kids' toys, and I just put it right there. And as if we listen to the sound quality is pretty good on this. Let's try the Super Bowl here. Yeah, it's AM. If we go to sideband. CQDX 595, Northern Nevada. CQDX 595, Northern Nevada. (1313). This is 595, Northern Nevada, waving our hand. (1313). I got a lot of noise out there, but you are making the trip. 73s to you, 595, Nevada. (1313) is an operator in Oklahoma, and conditions aren't the greatest right now, but you can see that it does get out. Now I keep a log of everywhere I reach, and one day last week it was a really good day. You can see that I reached Australia and 3 different islands in Hawaii. I reached Kauai, Oahu, and Maui. So that was a good day for DXing. Now for power on this, I briefly mentioned that last time. I did a video on how I do if you run an amp over here. I have the KL203P. A lot of people were saying to turn down the power on the AM to around, I think they said 2.5 watts, but I didn't do any of that. I left it stock. I'm not going to go into that. I did a whole video on that and why I didn't turn down the power on this. I didn't want to do any modifications inside this radio. I want it stock. Like I said, the only mod I did was remove that little paper or cloth buffer in there to make the modulation a little better. But as you can see here, stock on this radio on AM. I know this isn't totally accurate, but it's probably in the ballpark. If we key on AM, you can see it's pretty close to 4 watts. And on sideband, let's put it on sideband. Oops. Let's turn it to the 50 scale. You can see it's probably putting around 10, 11 watts, pretty closer to 11 watts. Which is really good. It should be doing 4 AM and around 12 sideband. So it's pretty close to that. So I'm happy with this out of the box. All right, for features on this, I'm not going to go in too much detail. You can see other videos on there. There's a lot about it. But it does have, you can calibrate your SWR here, but I have a meter on this that I use, so I don't really use that. I just kind of keep it on the RF. And let's see, there's also CBPA, which I don't use. Memory scan, you can push that. Let's turn the squelch way down so you can see that. It's going to stop on every channel otherwise. And you can see how it scans through the channels. It also has, you can switch between 9 and 19 if you want. Noise blanker, automatic noise level, I believe, the A and L. It also has a talkback feature so you can hear what you sound like. RF gain, mic gain, I just leave those at the maximum with the stock microphone. Has a weather feature so you can scan the weather channels. I have a low pass filter hooked up on this. So the weather band will not work on this radio because it's the low pass filter blocks the frequency the weather band's on. And you also have AM upper sideband and lower sideband. Also down here you have on the clarifier, I'm not quite sure what it has, a fine tuner and a coarse tuner. And usually if I have to tune someone in, I just use the fine. I've never ever had to do the coarse there. One thing I do notice, someone else mentioned that it's not quite centered. The buttons on here, like when they mounted it, it's off a little to the right. Doesn't really bother me, but something I did notice. Other than that, like I said, I'm extremely happy with this radio. You know, I went from my old Sears Road Talker and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to make those Australian contacts and some of the faraway ones I have, but this radio has just performed flawlessly. And like I said, I get really good reports on this. I don't think the noise level on this is, as someone else was saying, it has a high noise level. I haven't noticed that. It's a pretty quiet radio. And while we're at it, let's look at the power supply I have it hooked up to. I have it hooked up to a pyramid regulated power supply. This is a 12 amp power supply, which is more than enough to run this radio. All right, so there you have it. That's my review after using this for around 2.5 months. I think I paid $129 for this radio. They normally go for about $199. I was just looking at Amazon right now. You can get them for $169, which is a pretty good deal. So as a base station, I really like this radio. I would highly recommend it. I think it's a really nice radio. It sounds great. It appears to transmit really nice. I get great reports with the stock microphone. And no changes have been made to this. The only mod I said was I removed the little felt pad in the microphone. Otherwise, the radio, I have not opened up this radio. I have not touched anything inside of it, and I have no plans to. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.